All right, moving on now, and every relationship has its ups and downs, of course, but is there a simple quick fix to your partner problems? Well, here to explore that and more is human behavioural specialist and the author of Divorceless Relationships, Gary Douglas. It's great to have you here, Gary.
Thanks for having me.
What's the key? Is there such a thing as a perfect relationship?
There's no such thing.
No.
I often said that.
It'd be nice if there were.
But that's the first good thing that we should know, isn't it? That
Right.
Don't look for perfection.
No, it's like I tried. You know, it's like I married twice for love, and then discovered that you really need to be able to live with the person. Love is great, but living with them is much easier.
Yeah.
And it's like you can love somebody, it's like it's like I'm sort of this romantic kind of guy. So my point of view was, if you love somebody enough, they'll finally get it and realize it and be happy with you. Well, that doesn't actually work, unfortunately. But there are some techniques you can do, some things you can do that can change all that and make it easier.
Like what?
Well, there's basically 5 elements of what creates a great relationship. And I learned these from a woman who lived with me until she passed away. She was 96 years old. Her husband and she had had an amazing relationship. And I said, so what are the elements that make a great relationship? And she said, well, you have to do trust. I said, oh, you mean you have faith in it? Oh, no faith. Don't have faith. If you have faith, you're blind. Don't be blind. You have trust in them. You trust that they will do with what they're going to do. And if they're going to put the toilet seat down, they'll put the toilet seat down. If they're not, don't count on it. And she said, I could always trust that my bill, and I love the way she always said that, my bill would always take care of the cars and make sure I had gas. I went, wow. And I said, so what else? And she goes, to honor. And I said, oh, so what does that mean? And she said, to treat with regard. And you got to get that, it's like somebody treats you with regard. So how does that look, Mary? Did Bill ever cheat on you? She says, I have no idea, but he would never have dishonored me by telling me. Now, this is a woman who was raised by her Victorian grandmother. So that's a very different point of view than, the psychology stuff that I'd learned was, and I thought, there's got to be a different reality here. So the other thing she said is you have to have a sense of vulnerability. I said, okay, so what do you mean by vulnerability? And she says, vulnerability means to be as an open wound where you have no barriers to what the person is doing. And I go, oh, no barrier. Yeah. And she said, most people do this thing of putting up a barrier to something. They decide they can't tell somebody something. They decide that they can't be something with their partner. And that's based on judgment. And you can't have judgment and vulnerability in the same universe. Mm-hmm. And then the next one is allowance. Now, allowance is whatever the person does is just a point of view. It's not right or wrong or good or bad. And I said, well, how does that work? She goes, well, with my bill, it's like he'd say, it's like, I need you to do this. And I go, well, I don't want to do it. And he'd go, okay, honey. And I go, and she'd go, I would try to talk to him about what I wanted him to hear and listen to and talk about. And he'd go, Mary, the complaint department is closed. We are not talking about this issue. And they would that would be the end of it. There would be no more discussion about that issue. They realized that they had 2 different points of view, and they were allowing the other person to have their own point of view.
It's great to just, we are out of time, unfortunately, but it's great to just remember these things. They're things that we should all know, really, yes. and once that we're just reminded of it, we can go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lovely to talk to you, Gary.
Thank you. Thanks
you
for
make it sound so simple.
It is simple.
Yes. And so does my bill. I like my bill. I want to be like my bill.
Thanks,
Thank you
Gary.
very
Thanks
much.
so much.
Appreciate it.